But if you want to play this game of stereotyping people, Matt Walsh has said plenty of times that he thinks it should be okay to marry 16-year-old, 17-year-old girls because of whatever blah 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 nonsense. He sounds like a pedophile to me. So stereotyping this guy sitting in his car looking like that, he looks like a pedophile to me. So you know what? I think we should all take alarm and take note and make sure we are watching our kids when we're around this guy, because he looks like a pedo to me. He looks like he's ready to grab your kids and do some very inappropriate things that we throw people like this under the jail. Let's talk about Mr. Matt Walsh, okay? And I have this picture up for a reason, okay? And once we kind of get through the bulk of the video, you'll understand why I chose this picture right here. So, one thing that I noticed that a lot of Republican commentators, a lot of grifters, talking points always consist of is always taking something that is true like this, taking truth this big, and then surrounding it with rhetoric, propaganda, talking points, Republican talking points, think tank ideas. In its core, it could be a decent discussion. But when you clutter all of your nonsense around it, you get Matt Walsh and Candace Owens and all those idiots on that side. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to stereotyping, okay, some stereotypes are good. Like, I'm black, and guess what? I like watermelon. That's a stereotype, and it's true. You know what I'm saying? I like grape soda. Psh, give me watermelon, grape soda, I'm having a good day. You know what I'm saying? Some stereotypes can be funny, it can be true, but when you try to take stereotypes and twist it and mold it into your own rhetoric to fearmonger people, because 9 times out of 10, his audience are idiots and they're easily manipulated and they're easily put into fear. You know what I'm saying? You can say anything and they're going to be freaking out. You know what I'm saying? So when a grifter like Matt Walsh knows that, he knows how to take a little bit of truth, compact it with propaganda, talking points, rhetoric, racism, bigotry, everything, and feeds it to his audience. Then you get these crazy people shooting up Dollar Generals. You know what I'm saying? You get these idiots shooting up stores. So let's go ahead and hear what Mr. Matt Walsh has to say, and let's have this conversation.
For our daily cancellation today, we are canceling the daily cancellation just for the day so that I could talk about something a bit more serious. Yesterday, we discussed the story of the leftist activist in Philadelphia who was murdered in his home after spending the previous several years aggressively downplaying the violent crime problem in his city. And he mocked those who pointed out that Philadelphia had become a crime-ridden wasteland, and then he himself ultimately fell victim to the problem that he denied. So it turns out that reality still exists and will assert itself even if you have your head firmly planted in the sand. And that was in Philadelphia. Now we have a story out of New York with some very similar themes. The Post-Millennial reports a stabbing took place early Monday morning in Brooklyn's Bedford Stuyvesant neighborhood, claiming the life of poet and far-left activist Ryan Carson. The 32-year-old was walking down the sidewalk with his girlfriend when he was attacked by a stranger. A video emerged of the incident. It shows the couple sitting on a bench on the sidewalk when a man walks past them in a black hoodie. The man crosses the street, walks half a block down, then begins kicking over scooters in the street. The couple rise and walk in the same direction when the man turns around and approaches the couple. The couple continue walking toward him. A confrontation ensues wherein Carson puts up his hands and seems to attempt to dispel the tension. The man gets close to him and Carson pushes him off. Surveillance footage cuts to after the stabbing with Carson on the ground and his girlfriend standing by him. The attacker makes a motion toward her as well before moving off. According to the New York Post, the incident took place shortly before 4 a.m. on Monday, just near a bus stop. Okay, so there is a video, as it says, of the incident. I'm not going to play the part where Carson is actually stabbed to death no reason for anyone to watch that. But I want you to see everything that led up to this murder. Watch.
All right, so what we're going to do is not watch this because, once again, I don't want my channel to just revolve around murders and people losing their lives. Like, that's not this kind of channel. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to broadcast stuff like that. So let's, go ahead, watch the video if you want to figure out what happened. But at the end of the day, the guy sitting right here gets stabbed by this guy right here. But what's more important is what Matt Walsh has to say about the situation.
Now, this is obviously very sad to see. It's tragic anytime a deranged, violent, useless social parasite who's been left to roam the streets by our even more useless justice system randomly murders someone. It's obviously always a terrible thing. And also we should acknowledge.
So now he's starting to frame the argument. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be someone who is crazy kill somebody. It has to be, I'm not going to nitpick at some of the names that, because I don't want to do that. But when you try to say in these inner cities and the justice system just lets them out, that's already diverting to Democrat policies. Like, there's no policy where they're just letting criminals go. The policy is we're letting, hey, you kill someone, we're going to not prosecute you. Go ahead and walk around. Like, no, they're not just opening the jail cells and letting just everyone leave, because then prisons wouldn't have nothing to profit off of. So that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Either the justice system uses prisons to profit, or if they're just letting prisoners out. Like, you can't have it both ways. So he's already, shamelessly crafting the conversation to elude you into one way.
That Carson appears in that video to place himself between the crazy guy and his girlfriend, potentially saving her life in the process, and that takes real courage. So it's not for the sake of gloating, obviously, that we point out that Carson was not only a far-left activist, but according to reporting from Andy No, was a self-described Antifa member, and his activist.
According to
gloating, obviously, that we point out that Carson was not only a far-left activist, but according to reporting from Andy No, was a self-described Antifa member, and his girlfriend, No reports, had previously posted anti-cop sentiments, writing that the police do not protect you, along with ACAB and BLM.
Okay, so self-ascribed Antifa. How do you even sign up? Like, that is such a stupid talking point. It is ridiculous. Antifa, I don't care about no damn Antifa. You know what I'm saying? And then his girlfriend, made some Facebook posts about Black Lives Matter and anti-cop. Like, okay, where is he going with this? Let's figure out. Let's listen. But what does this have to do with the particular situation?
Now, these details are relevant not because we want to dunk over a dead body, but because there are very important lessons that must be learned in order to prevent this sort of thing from happening in the future. So
Teach me.
Let's review this. First of all, Ryan and his girlfriend are out walking the streets of Brooklyn at 4 a.m. Now, I don't know what they were doing out there or why they were out there. The Daily Mail claims that they were waiting for a bus, but in the video, you can see them getting up from the bench and walking away from it towards someplace else. But even if they were taking the bus, either way, you don't walk in the city at 4 a.m. and you don't take public transportation in the city at 4 a.m.
Okay. First off, you can do whatever the hell you want. Okay, you're not. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's continue.
Everything is more dangerous after dark in the city, and every person you encounter has a greater likelihood of doing you harm. That's not paranoia, it's just the reality. So mistake number one was being there in the first place. Second, he sees the lone black male in a hoodie walk by at 4 a.m., and he and his girlfriend immediately get up and walk the same direction. They don't even wait for a few minutes to let him pass and put some distance in between them. They decide to head his direction when they're 20 feet away from him. They don't cross the street, as they should have done. They don't turn and walk the other way, which also would have been a better choice. They walk right towards him, which was mistake number 2. And third, when the guy goes crazy and starts knocking over scooters or whatever he was doing, Carson continues to walk towards the commotion. And when the crazy guy notices them and starts screaming at them, Carson tries to engage, telling him to chill, as if he had any chance of calming a knife-wielding psycho who's going berserk on a street corner in the middle of the night. And as soon as the crazy guy started yelling at Carson, saying, "What are you looking at?" and, et cetera, Carson still could have probably escaped with his life if he had simply turned and crossed the street and don't stop making eye contact, just go the other way, and gotten himself and his girlfriend out of the situation. But he didn't do that. Now, there's a whole list of common sense judgment calls that Carson could have made, but he didn't. And now, tragically, he's dead because of it. This is where his status as a far-left activist comes into play.
Ah, there it is. There. This is the exact nonsense that upsets me. Like, just listen to the nonsense, okay?
Not for making fun of him, but for potentially understanding why he made this series of glaring, easily avoidable errors. Now, we cannot know for sure what was in his head at the time, but we do know that leftist ideology will not allow its adherents to make common sense judgment calls because those judgment calls are based on stereotypes. According to Carson's ideology, it would make him racist to cross the street and avoid that interaction. It would be judgmental. It would be marginalizing. It would be otherizing.
Who says that? If somebody is screaming and kicking down scooters and trash cans in the streets, I don't care what color they are. Me and my wife are walking on the other side or walking the opposite way. Well, that's, once again, that's not a black thing or a white thing. That's just hey, I don't care who it is. I'm walking the other way. But, once again, he's crafting this to try to make it seem like it's okay to stereotype people. We're going to get to that at the end of the video.
Leftist ideology would rather that you be killed than you make those kinds of assumptions. Even if your assumptions are statistically justified, especially if they're statistically justified. Leftist ideology says it's better to die than that.
Wow.
And Ryan,
what statistic is that? I never got polled by, would you rather die than to make someone feel like you're racist or whatever the question. Like, what statistics do you have to back that up? Because like I just said, my black behind be walking the other way. I don't care if he black. I don't care if he white. I don't care if he Mexican, Asian, Indian. It don't matter. You screaming down the street, kicking down things. I have a new destination. I'm going to take the long way this time. All right, so let's talk about this, okay? Because like I said, it is not a racial stereotype to see someone crazy walking down the street, talking to themselves, kicking things, screaming. That's not racially profiling somebody. That's just you using common sense to stay out of people's way. It don't matter what color they are. It don't matter what political party you believe in, or what city that you're in, or country or town. It doesn't matter. Just get out the way. Why does this have to be politicized? Why does this have to be racialized? Like, it doesn't. But no, this is only trying to give an okay to stereotype people. And sometimes, like I said at the beginning, sometimes stereotypes are funny, but if you're using that in a negative way, then it becomes damaging. Then it becomes a problem. Then people could literally die because of your stereotypes. Because you stereotyping something will cause you, or someone will cause you to act. And sometimes that's in a harmful way. What about Tamir Rice? What happened? Oh, stereotyping caused Tamir Rice to get shot and die. What about Trayvon Martin? Once again, what did that little okay, let me not. It is important that we don't fall for this type of bull that Mr. Matt Walsh is serving. But if you want to play this game of stereotyping people, Matt Walsh has said plenty of times that he thinks it should be okay to marry 16-year-old, 17-year-old girls because of whatever blah, 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 blah nonsense. He sounds like a pedophile to me. So stereotyping this guy sitting in his car looking like that, he looks like a pedophile to me. So you know what? I think we should all take alarm and take note and make sure we are watching our kids when we're around this guy, because he looks like a pedo to me. He looks like he's ready to grab your kids and do some very inappropriate things that we throw people like this under the jail. He looks like a pedophile. I don't care what kind of expensive suit he puts on. I don't care how he tries to make up his hair. He's always going to look like a pedophile to me. So if you're ever around Matt Walsh, take heed to these stereotypes, because you don't want your kids, because Republican talking heads like this are really popular of being pedophiles. They have a long history of that. And he could be one. I'm just saying. I mean, it's just stereotypes, right? You just look and observe at the situation. That's pedophile 101 right there. He bought the pedo starter kit off of Amazon right there. So if you want to play that game and try to use stereotypes to justify people being stupid and ignorant, then we can play that game. But once again, let me know if you think Matt Walsh looks like a pedophile. If you think he looks like a pedophile, let me know in the comments. And like always, let's have that conversation.